Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is December 11, 2024, and in this video we're going to talk about the brand new visa bulletin for January 2025 that just came out a few days ago. We're going to compare it to December visa bulletin, and we're going to see what movement, if any, has happened. I have not looked at the brand new visa bulletin yet, so let's open both of these in a separate tab, and we're gonna compare them two in this video. So before we begin the comparison, I'm gonna go briefly over, if this is your first visa bulletin that you are watching and you don't know how to read the visa bulletin, I will briefly explain what it entails. And we are going to be going over the family preference categories. We're not gonna talk about the employment-based preferences in this video, but if you understand how to read visa bulletin, you will be able to compare the employment-based preferences as well. So the very first thing, let's start with two different graphs. There are two graphs on each visa bulletin that is coming out of the Department of State. There's the graph A, final action dates, and there's a graph B, dates for filing. Graph A, final action dates, shows the full length that you will be waiting for the availability of the immigrant visa, and the graph B is showing us how long until the NVC portal is open for you to start your documentary qualification process. If your case has been approved by USCIS, your I-130 has been approved by USCIS, transferred to the NVC, and the portal is still closed. If you're not familiar with the documentary qualification process, there's a video on this channel that describes the documentary qualification process in details, so check it out. So if you're already documentarily qualified and you're just waiting for the availability of the immigrant visa and waiting for your interview to be scheduled, interviews are based on your immigrant visa being available, you're looking at the graph A. If your I-130 has been approved and you're waiting for the NVC portal to open up, you're looking at the graph B. So that's what the two graphs represent. You probably already know that there are four family preference categories. The second family preference category has two subcategories, F2A and F2B. F2A being for spouses and children of permanent residents, and F2B being unmarried sons and daughters over 21 of permanent residents. F1 being unmarried sons and daughters of US citizens, F3 being married sons and daughters of US citizens, and F4 being brothers and sisters of adult US citizens. Again, if you are spouse of a US citizen, a child anybody under 21, a child of a US citizen, you are in immediate relative category, and you don't have to look at the visa bulletin, because whenever it comes to the visa bulletin, immediate relatives, they are not waiting. There is no backlog. The immigrant visa is immediately available once you are documentarily qualified. Well, actually, once your I-130 is approved, but there's still documentary qualification process that has to take place. So let's start with the comparison. We'll start with the graph A, final action dates. This is December and this is January. So let's start with the F1, sons and daughters of US citizens over 21, not the petitioner, the beneficiary. So F1 in December was on 22nd October 2015 for all chargeability area. For China, 22nd October 2015, India 22nd October 2015, Mexico 22nd November 2004, and Philippines 1st March 2012. All right, let's take a look at January now. And looks like there is movement, and looks like the movement is forward, which is definitely great news. So F1 we have for all chargeability area, we have from 22nd October 2015 to 22nd November 2015. So that is October, November. So that's 1 month's movement, which is a normal movement that we would expect a month every month. More is better, less is worse. Nothing is not good, and obviously going backwards, it's the worst news that we can have. But so far for the F1 for all chargeability, we have positive movement moving forward. So 22nd October to November, so 1 month's movement. Moving further to China, we have the same thing, 1 month's movement, as you can see, from October 22nd to November 22nd. Great news. Same thing for India, November 22nd. Let's see for Mexico. Unfortunately, no movements at all for Mexico for F1 category. Let's take a look at the Philippines. 8th March 2012. Looks like the movement of only 7 days. So something is better than nothing, but of course we expect a little bit better. Unfortunately, not much. And whenever it comes to chargeability areas, again, if this is the very first video that you're watching on this channel on the Visa Bulletin, whenever it comes to chargeability areas, Mexico, Philippines, India, China, the reason why they have separate chargeability areas is because the immigration flow, the immigration traffic from those countries is more, heavier numbers. So they usually take longer. But sometimes we see movement in those category, in those chargeability areas and not in all chargeability areas. So again, it really depends on the numbers and the amount of applications, the amount of visas being issued. All right, let's move on to the F2A category. So far, overall, for all chargeability, for China, for India, good news for F1, 1 month's movement ahead. Let's see what's going on for F2A. We have for all chargeability, which are all of the countries other than China, India, Mexico, and Philippines. We have January 1st, 2022. For December, let's see for January. So no movement at all. No movement at all for F2A. For all chargeability, no movement for China. No movement for India. There is movement for Mexico, however, from April 15, 2021 to 15 May. So April, May, so 1 month's movement for Mexico. This is exactly what I was just talking about. You see, sometimes other chargeability areas, they move further and no movement on all chargeability. Sometimes it's the other way around. So for F2A, looks like good news for Mexico, and no news for Philippines. No movement whatsoever for the Philippines for the January. Let's see. So 1st January 2022, and no movement for January Visa Bulletin, January 2025 for Philippines, still on 1st January 2022. But on the plus side, everybody except Mexico looks like they are current on F2A category whenever it comes to, which means they're the same as all chargeability. All right, let's move on to the F2B now and see what's going on. So we got F2B for all chargeability. We are on May 2016. 22nd May, so we're moving from 1st of May to the 22nd of May, so 21 days of movement. Not the full month, but something is better than nothing. That's good. Let's see what's going on here for China. Same thing for China. We got from May 1st to 22nd May. India, we have 22nd May. Same thing, 21 days of movement. For Mexico, we have no movement at all. July 1st, 2005. Mexico is quite behind on F2B category. And the Philippines, we have 22nd of October 2011. And the same thing in January. So no movement between December and January, unfortunately, for Mexico and Philippines. Let's move on to the next one, the F3 category. We have April 15th, 2010. Let's see what's going on. Okay, we have some movement. So from April 15th, we have April, May, June, July. Wow, so we got pretty good movement for F3 category for all chargeability area. What, like 2.5 months from April 15th to July 1st. Good stuff. That's the kind of movement we want to see. That means we are catching up in a certain category. Definitely great news. Let's see what's going on for China. Same thing, we got the same movement as you can see. Here we go, 15th April to July 1st. Definitely great news. Let's see what's going on. Same thing for India, and they are current with the rest of the world. Good stuff. Let's see what's going on for Mexico. Mexico in December was on 22nd of October 2000. Yeah, quite behind. Let's see what's going on for January. We have from October to November, so 1 month's movement. A steady movement that we would expect. We would hope, it would be nice to see something better, but yeah, something is better than nothing. 1 month's movement. Philippines, we have from September 8th, 2002 to 8th November 2002, so 2 months movement for Philippines. So overall, F3 looks like we have overall pretty good news for F3 categories, third family preference category. All right, let's move to the F4 now. We have all chargeability on August 1st, 2007. Let's see what's going on for January. No movement at all. No movement for China. Looks like there is some movement for India from March 8th, 2006. We're moving to 8th April. So March, April, 1 month's movement for India. For F4 category, let's see what's going on for Mexico. No movement for Mexico, unfortunately. And some movement for Philippines, let's see, from February 1st, 2004 to May 2004. So February, so we got February, March, April, May. So 3-4 months movement ahead for Philippines for F4 category. That's definitely good movement. Hopefully we will see the same movement reflect on the rest of the world in the next visa bulletin. But for now, let's move on to the graph B, dates for filing. That's for those who are waiting for their NVC portal to open up. So let me scroll down here to the same level so it's easier to see the difference. And we're gonna select F1 category. We got for the rest of the world September 1st, 2017. September 1st, 2017, no movement. No movement for China, no movement for India, no movement for Mexico, and no movement for Philippines. So no movement at all, unfortunately. Let me try to scroll down to the same thing. Let's see, F2A, no movement for F2A, any of the chargeability areas. How about F2B? No movement for F2B that I see so far. Okay, so there is some movement for Mexico from July 1st, 2006 to October. So July, August, September, October. So about 2-3 months of movement for Mexico on F2B category from July 1st to October 1st. What about Philippines? No movement for Philippines, unfortunately. So good news for F2B category for Mexico chargeability area for those who are waiting for their NVC portal to open up for the documentary qualification process to begin. Okay, let's move on to the F3. Here it is, F3. I'm gonna highlight it. Okay, so we do have some movement for F3 categories from 22nd April 2012 to 22nd July 2012. So we got April, May, June, July, so 2-3 months movement. Good stuff. Same thing for China, same thing for India. No movement for Mexico, and no movement for Philippines, unfortunately. All right, let's take a look at the F4 category now, see if there is some kind of movement for people waiting for documentary qualification process to begin based on the forced family preference category. So we got all chargeability area March 1st, 2008. March 1st, 2008. So no movement for all chargeability area for F4. China, no movement. India. Okay, 15 days movement from August 1st to August 15th. So like 2 weeks movement ahead. At least something. Mexico, let's see. No movement for Mexico. And looks like some movement for Philippines from 22nd of July to 1st January. Wow, okay, that's pretty good movement. Good news for Philippines people waiting for documentary qualification in forced family preference category. So from 22nd of July we have August, September, October, November, December. January. So like almost 6 months movement. That's definitely pretty good news. That's what we expect to see on all the rest of the categories, all the rest of the chargeability areas. So hopefully this video has been helpful to you. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. I do occasionally make videos where I go through the comments on this channel and answer them in a separate video. So I'll try to get to that. I start to receive more and more questions on this channel, so it's becoming pretty hard to keep up. So I'm sorry if I don't get to your question in a timely manner. But that's really it. We're gonna be waiting for February 2025 visa bulletin to come out, which is gonna happen sometime in January. Once that happens, I will make an updated video. But thank you very much everyone for watching. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.